What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 14th, 2022. It is Eagles game day. They take on the Washington Commanders down at Lincoln Financial Field in a game that I will not be attending again. I feel as though there was a point in time in my life where I thrived and looked forward to 4, 8 o'clock, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night games. Now, I dread them. I absolutely dread them. It's a lot. So, yes, it's great. They're good. I just read somewhere yesterday there could be a couple more of their games flexed into the night primetime games, which is awesome because, like I said, it means they're good. It's just not good for me attending the games in person. So, hopefully, if you're out there, our tickets are up on the NFL Ticket Exchange. Just not trying to make money on them, selling them for face value. So, go check it out if you're looking to go to the game tonight. A quick update from yesterday. I had mentioned we talked about Dr. J's first season with the Sixers and how that started like a good 10-year run where they were consistently in the conversation for Eastern Conference and NBA championships. So I did look it up from the 1975-76 season through the 86-87 season. The Sixers or the Celtics represented the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals every year except for two. And that was the 77-78 and 78-79 seasons. So that was kind of that pre Larry Bird era for the Celtics. And the only two teams that or it was the Washington Bullets were the Eastern Conference representative that year. Them and the Seattle Supersonics split the NBA championship those 2 years. But that was a hell of a 10, 11, 12-year run by both the Sixers and the Celtics. Basically, it was those three teams, the Sixers, Celtics, and Lakers, adds the top of the NBA. And again, the Sixers kind of get forgotten about because they only came home with the one title. Even though they took the Lakers to a couple lengthy series. So just a little piece of history there for everyone. Speaking of the Sixers, they won last night versus the Jazz. JoJo was out of his mind, which is good. And like I said, if they could play that way consistently, and then you have Harden coming back soon, they could be all right. But I question the coach. So, it's, again, something to keep an eye on. I don't know where it stands or what's going to happen, but we'll see. The Flyers got thumped by the Stars, so they've been outscored 9-2 in the past 2 days in their games. You got to like the fire from the coach, though. John Tortorella flipped out and said, you can talk shit, you can boo, you can do all you want. I got my players' backs. They're trying. They're putting the effort. And basically, I think he's saying, yo, we came out, overachieved a little bit. We have a young team that's putting in effort. Back off. Give them a chance to kind of grow and mature as a team. You're going to hit bumps in the roads like that. Personally, I like it. I like the fact that he's kind of saying, I got these guys back, and we'll take it from there. Couple other just random things that I might be pursuing in the future here on Back to the Future, the other podcast that you can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. The NFL overtime rules, they're stupid, and something needs to be done. Now, it worked out somewhat in favor of both teams yesterday, but if you're watching that Buffalo-Minnesota game, first of all, it should have never gone the overtime. But once it was there, the fact that there's just a 10-minute quarter and the team that has the ball first basically can drive down, score a touchdown, and end the game. It's just, I don't like it. I would like to see them do something similar to what like a soccer does, where you have a 10, 15-minute quarter. It doesn't have to be anything longer than that. You play it out to the end, basically like a second, fourth quarter almost, and whatever happens at the end of that time period, that's it. Whichever team is ahead, whichever team is if it's tied, it turns into a tie. I just don't like the fact that it's uneven. And I don't know about the 10 minutes. Just give them another 15-minute quarter. Just add it on. It's what you do in the playoffs. And it just, to me, it makes sense. And something else I'm looking at, too, as my fantasy football teams yesterday basically all went up in flames. Usually I'd be like very upset at this point and trying to turn it around. But to be honest, I'm more into real sports betting, and I had money on that Buffalo Minnesota game, and that was way more exciting than anything I've ever had with fantasy football, short of one of the times I was in the Super Bowl. So I think we're seeing with legal online sports betting, I think we're seeing more and more of this happen. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. It's something that I'm kind of starting to notice, and I think there might be a shift. There might be a future episode, maybe even a panel discussion that we can have on Back to the Future. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that. And is real sports betting taking the place now of fantasy football? So let's get into this day in Philly sports history for October 14th. We're going to go back to 1999. This is my buddy Kevin's probably favorite topic of all time because he's such a huge McNabb fan. But this was Donovan McNabb's first start as an Eagle. They played the Washington team at the Vet. They won 35-28. McNabb did better, I guess, than Doug Peterson. He was 8 for 21 for 60 yards, 49 rushing yards, and threw a 2-point conversion. But it was an ugly game, to be honest. Despite the fact that the score was high, but 4 Norm Johnson field goals. Allen Rossum returned to kickoff, but the defense played well. They turned Washington over 6 times, and still they had to come back at the end to win that game. But the big thing, again, this was McNabb's first start, and it wasn't so much that he played well or anything, but I just remember seeing glimpses of the future. The way he commanded that offense was better than Dougie P ever did. And nothing against Dougie P because he won us a Super Bowl, and you guys know how I feel about him. But I think you saw the potential that was there, and we know how it worked out despite what Kevin thinks. McNabb was the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. Couldn't get over the hump, got us there 5 times to the NFC Championship game. Some of them were his fault. Some of them I blame Andy Reid because he had some similar issues even in Kansas City. He's not necessarily the best big game coach. But the thing that McNabb's legacy is that he never won the big game and puked in the Super Bowl. But no better quarterback in Eagles history, and we've had a couple. But on this day in 1999, the Donovan McNabb era officially started. All right, so time for our pick. And ironically enough, the Eagles are taking on Washington at home again today. The spread right now is 10.5, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. That's kind of a high number, especially for a division opponent. Taylor Heineke has them playing halfway decent. My gut is telling me Washington with the points. I do think the Eagles come out and win this game. I'm just not. I don't know if I'm confident enough to make that pick. Could I see the Eagles covering it and winning by 17? Absolutely. I think, to be honest, I think the better play is the over in this game. The over is 43.5, and I think that's kind of low because Washington will put up some points, and you know the Eagles are going to put up some points. So, going to break from the way I normally do it. We're 3-5 on Eagles pick straight up this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Washington to win, the Eagles to win, but Washington to cover the spread as the official pick. But I am going to place a bet on with my real money on the over. I might even mess around with a teaser or something in there. But take the Eagles to win, Washington with the points, over 43.5. Celebrating McNabb's first start as a NFL quarterback today. Go Birds. Have yourselves a Monday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.